This is Ruger LCP Max versus Glock G42 versus SIG P365 380. 380 ammo comparison video 8. Hornady Critical Defense 90 grain FTX. We're going to be taking a look at the Hornady Critical Defense 90 grain FTX ammo. This ammo has a 90 grain FTX, kind of like a ballistic tip, projectile. And now, let's hit the range. Okay, all three shots have registered. Shifted my grip a little bit. That did jack squat for accuracy. Okay, well. Okay, we're getting numbers. Now let's crunch the numbers, and we got some very interesting results. Starting with the Ruger LCP Max, which is on the bottom, we have an average velocity of 932 feet per second. The highest was 939 feet per second. Lowest is 924 feet per second. Difference between the highest and lowest is 15 feet per second. That translates to an average of 173.55 foot-pounds of energy. For the Glock G42, we have an average velocity of 901 feet per second. The highest is 910 feet per second. Lowest is 888 feet per second. The difference between the highest and lowest velocity is 22 feet per second. And that translates to an average energy of 162.19 foot-pounds of energy. For the SIG P365 380, we have an average of 921 feet per second. The highest is 944 feet per second. Lowest is 903 feet per second. The difference between the highest and lowest velocity is 41 feet per second. And the average energy comes out to 169.47 foot-pounds of energy. Now, the interesting results today are, if you look at the numbers, the Ruger LCP Max today had the highest average velocity and the highest average energy. Now, in the past, when we have chronographed this Hornady Critical Defense ammo, we averaged 917 feet per second, and that was when we chronographed it with the Glock G42 and the Ruger LCP Max in the past. So you can see our numbers today are consistent with the numbers that we got in the past, though the last time the Glock G42 got the little higher velocity and energy compared to the Ruger LCP Max, whereas today that's reversed. And then we also see that with the SIG P365 380, even with its slightly longer barrel than the Ruger LCP Max, it came in beneath it. I have no idea how to explain that, especially when the Glock has an even longer barrel. And I would say the accuracy demonstrated today is not representative of what this ammo is capable of. I feel like I shot it quite poorly compared to how I've shot it in the past, even though my SIG P365 380 group looks halfway decent. Now, one area where this ammo excelled today, and it's done so in the past, is on the extreme spread, or the difference between the highest and the lowest velocity. For all three firearms to be tested today, that was well below 50. And at 15 and 22 for the Ruger LCP Max and the Glock G42, if you go by extreme spread, that puts it in the exceptional range. Now let's compare that to one of the range ammos we fired quite a bit recently, the Fiocchi 95 grain full metal jacket. Comparing the Hornady Critical Defense to that, you see on average we do get more velocity with each firearm, and in some cases quite a bit more velocity. And as a result, that translates to more energy carried by the projectile. I would also say that as far as accuracy goes, at least today, I would say we had similar accuracy results from both ammunitions. The one area where the Hornady Critical Defense definitely came out ahead is on the extreme spread. It had significantly better numbers on the extreme spread compared to our Fiocchi ammo. Now let's compare that against the Remington HTP 88 grain jacketed hollow point that we previously looked at. Now with a projectile that's 2 grains heavier on the Hornady Critical Defense ammo, which we're going to say isn't really going to mean much, with the Ruger LCP Max, you'll see that we got significantly more velocity and as a result more energy in the projectile with the Hornady Critical Defense when compared to the Remington 88 grain JHP. When moving to the Glock G42 and the P365 380, you see that the average velocity and energy numbers are very similar. I would say within the difference of 1 round, and really not enough to make a difference in that regard. However, one thing we don't know about the Remington ammo yet is if that velocity is enough to generate hollow point expansion. In the past, we have meat target tested the Hornady Critical Defense 90 grain FTX out of the Ruger LCP Max, and as you can see, we got excellent expansion out of that ammo, and it was very consistent. So we know at the velocities that we're seeing today that we would likely get hollow point expansion with this Hornady ammo. Now, just because the Hornady Critical Defense we get good expansion at this velocity doesn't mean that all hollow point ammo will at this velocity. The projectile we're showing on the screen is not a Remington projectile, it's not a Remington HTP, but it is one fired at a meat target from the Ruger LCP Max using ammo that generated very similar velocity to what we're seeing today. And as you can see, we had 0 hollow point expansion. It might as well have just been a full metal jacket round. And while we did get very similar performance out of the Glock and the SIG between these two ammos, one thing you do see is that the extreme spread with the Hornady Critical Defense was significantly better than the Remington HTP, if that matters to you. Well, I hope you found this video useful, and you're looking forward to the next video in our 380 ammo comparison series. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a good day.